Hello, I am Daniel Bloodworth. We're Easy Allies, and this is the Easy Allies podcast. This is a strange week. Obviously, if you're catching the recording of this, it's probably, you're catching some signs of it, but it took me more than like double the normal time to get down here. Damiani was sick earlier today, but he's feeling somewhat better now. Huber is not feeling well, so he had to bow out. I've had to adjust things around. So it's going to be a little slippy and slidey and all kinds of fun stuff today. Damiani joining us.
Yep. I got my COVID booster shot, so that's why I was not feeling so well. I had planned to get it like next week originally, but then my mom was like, "Hey, there's a Halloween thing going on this Saturday night, and your nephews are going. They'd be thrilled for you to show up." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course." And it's like, "What is it?" And it's like, "Oh, a bunch of kids doing like Halloween-y things at this place." I'm like, "Oh, lots of kids?" Like, yes. I'm like, "Oh." Last time I actually got COVID, the first time I ever got it, I've only got it once, was being around a bunch of like kids who were sick. And I was like, any parent will tell
kids
you, like, little kids will get you sick all the time. So I'm like, So I was like, I called up, I do it at Walmart pharmacy. I was like, can I come in earlier? I already made an appointment. Like, yeah, just walk up. Like, we do walk-ins. Went in yesterday, got it. And yeah, as usual, it's same every time. I get it. I like start to either get a headache or something before I go to bed, and then I wake up with like fever and chills sometime in the morning. Way more intense, but shorter this time. I feel mostly pretty good right now, at least. So hopefully it's all over, and now I will hopefully not get sick this weekend.
Making it all happen in the control room. We got Isla Hink.
What up?
And then Gabby is back there right now, but Gabby will be coming out here to talk about Wilmot Works It Out, and we'll have her up here for love and respect and all that stuff. But we did not prepare her for that, so we didn't want to throw her in for the full deep end of the crazy episode. This week we're going to talk about this Ubisoft news with the Prince of Persia Lost Crown team being disbanded. We're talking about potentially a sequel to Tales of Kenzera Zao, if they get the money. Somebody give them some money. We're also going to talk about Alan Wake 2, the lake house that Isla has started.
Yeah.
Fear the Spotlight that Isla has finished.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And I know we just did August last week, but now we got the September sales report. And Damiani, it's very, very interesting. I hope you didn't get too spoiled yet.
I have not seen it yet, Bloodworth, because I was sleeping most of the day. So
Okay.
I actually forgot. Like, so we just had one. So this is the weird one that's only like 2 weeks later, right? So this is for September.
Yeah, this one's September.
Because we did August like a week or two. Okay.
Yeah, so last week was August. This week we got September. It's a little crazy the way it played out.
All right.
But let's talk about Prince of Persia, which you played all through that game. I played a little bit of it. I haven't got to finish it yet. But French report came out this week from YouTuber Gautos for Origami, and it was later confirmed by Ubisoft, and they even did like a tweet today that reveals that the team behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown has been disbanded, citing lower than expected sales, and they haven't been laid off, but they're going off to other parts of Ubisoft Montpellier.
This one is tough because Lost Crown is such a good game. I don't know if it's like gonna be a serious GOTY contender for a lot of people, but it definitely signaled a good new direction for Prince of Persia. Yeah. While we were waiting to see what they were doing with like the mainline entries in the series, we got this and we got the Rogue, and they looked like they were starting to do some new creative things with the Prince of Persia series to keep it alive, and it is a very important franchise. And I liked what I was playing in the Rogue, and I also liked the Lost Crown so much. I think it did so well. The traversal mechanics, the Metroidvania nature of it, and I was like all but assured that like, oh, they're definitely going to get a second crack at this. Like the critical reception for this is so good that like even if it just like slightly below sales targets, they're going to be like, okay, we need to like maybe push this game. And it's reading more and more like this is just like Ubisoft messed up. That like the studio did what it needed to do. This game was excellent, and Ubisoft is like, I don't want to call it like meddling, but like lack of, good marketing, like the pricing for it maybe.
Right.
And
yeah, I've got details on this stuff too. Yeah.
yeah, and I've seen a lot of people complain about the regional pricing for it too in other territories that like it's way more expensive than similar style games. And like this is a Ubisoft problem with their games being so expensive and like not really pricing them appropriately in my opinion. And this game could have I'm just shocked that this game didn't succeed because it felt like they had such a winner here, such an easy home run with this, and Ubisoft is the reason, not the developers, but Ubisoft as the publisher is the reason. Like if you'd given this to maybe a publisher who cared a little bit more about this type of project. And I don't know, Prince of Persia had so much, I felt like momentum was going again for it after the Sands of Time remake was in like development hell. We still don't know what's going on with it other than that the dumbest announcement from that thing. It's like, at least we have these other projects that are pretty intriguing. And now it's like, are they going to squander all that? Is like Prince of Persia now truly in a, in a spot where we might see like the end of it here?
Right. Yeah, so apparently the sequel pitch was reworked to be DLC, which I don't know if you got into that. I know Huber wanted to check it out, but I don't think he's gotten to it yet. And the part of the report said that Ubisoft was afraid that a sequel would cannibalize sales of The Lost Crown, which is just the weirdest statement if that's true, because it's just like, all right, look, if it's not selling anyways, then who cares if it gets cannibalized? And the game's not going to come out for at least 2 years, I would expect, even if like they are using the same engine and everything. It's so crazy.
Well, I don't get that. That feels like some executive level person just thinking about money, dollar signs, and not like doesn't know about game development and people who play games. I feel like anyone who was won over by the game would have been like, I'm absolutely going to buy a sequel and I'm excited for a sequel. And when you're talking about cannibalizing sales, like, I don't like, that seems like such a terrible stance to take from that. And honestly, I don't know. I'm just so flabbergasted at this decision. Because we've seen like this is something that was previously reserved for like we're making fun of and like calling out Xbox and Microsoft for this trash. Right. Where successful studios releasing good games, this is just reinforcing that notion that like, okay, maybe the Ubisoft's expectation didn't sell well, but it was a critically acclaimed game.
Right.
And that's no longer good enough. It does not matter that you can make a really great game. If your publisher doesn't know how to like correctly monetize that game and do that, then doesn't like.
Well, especially like how flooded this year was. I mean, and that was even January, right? Like,
but it came out.
Crazy.
It came out at a good time. There were a few games coming out in January, but I think it had enough room to breathe.
But here's the thing, Damiani. You brought this up a little bit. So this game launched for $50.
Yeah,
to start with.
That was a little probably too much.
It's a big ask for a 2D game that's not from Nintendo. I think it's a fair price for the quality that you're getting, but when you're trying to sell somebody on that, it's a lot harder just because it's just how people perceive it. Plus, it was not on Steam. It came out in January. It did not come out to Steam until August.
Oh yeah, this was that when Ubisoft is still not putting things. Now they're changing their tune about this. Yeah, obviously, like they seem to have like course corrected, like a lot of other publishers realizing it's asinine to not put your game on PC, Steam, day and date with like all of their platforms. But yes, that is a huge misfire, and I think that did hurt like sales because a game like this, I think, doesn't really benefit from a delayed release on another platform. Just like that probably didn't provide a meaningful sales bump. I would wager, but at the same time, like we saw so many like Metroidvanias coming out this year, and it did to me unless I'm misremembering horribly. This one was the first major one to come out, and then we were talking about like all these ones to follow it. So like, yes, there were a lot of games coming out this entire year. So like it was a flood of games, it could be easy to get lost in that. But for that genre, I think it was a big first headlining Metroidvania style game. So it was grabbing a lot of the attention. Plus, a revitalization of Prince of Persia. I think it had so much momentum going into it, and the developers were like post-launch, they were talking so excitedly about it, talking about like all this like plans for the post-launch support with like boss gauntlets,
right.
combat like balancing, challenge stuff for like people do speed runs. Like they were ready to go with this, and honestly, like you should like just seize that and been like, great, like get that out, and like we're also gonna get you green on a sequel like right away. And this just, this is another big fumble by them, and it's sad, like, because disbanding this studio. Now that's they might end up at other places, but that team and Prince of Persia now, like, where's that? And also, like, I'm not worried about like the Rogue. It's like,
well, I mean, that's an indie team that they basically just gave permission to make a game, and so. But they may dry up funding on it if it's not doing well.
I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to cut it off and be like, what you have is what you have. Good luck. We're cutting our ties with this project. And we don't know. They have not shown us a single shred of footage of the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, which also should have been one of the like easiest slam dunks of all time for a critically acclaimed game. It's like, just what?
So, it's but Damiani, I honestly think this plays into it, right? So because Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is a big deal, is probably the most revered game in the series beyond the original, And the original's kind of hard to go back to. It's a first of its kind of game that you kind of have to get used to the controls and stuff. But I feel like we had this similar kind of thing happen with Vampire the Masquerade. You remember this? Where like Bloodlines 2 was supposed to be like the big comeback game for the franchise. And then they had all these other Vampire the Masquerade games that were lined up. And then Bloodlines 2 got this rocky development and sort of like went off the radar. And then the spin-offs now are coming out with no main game that's supposed to be supporting them. So I think that's part of it. Also, Damiani, I went back and looked at the dates on this stuff. This is crazy. The last like real Prince of Persia game that wasn't just like some kind of like little mobile thing or something that people didn't really know about was The Forgotten Sands.
Oh, wow.
Which was the one that was like came out alongside the movie.
Yeah.
That was 2010.
10, right?
That was 14 years ago. So like the idea that Prince of Persia is this big franchise that Ubisoft is bringing a comeback to, it's like it has to be earned a little bit more, I think,
So, yeah.
And then to go to another direction, it makes me think of like Metroid Prime Federation Force, where like I know a lot of people that like that game for what the game is, but because like Metroid had just been nowhere, that like people's like, no, this is not what we want.
Yeah, no, I get it. And like I get that like the evolution of the OG, like the 3D Prince of Persia games, starting, with Sands of Time, eventually led into like Assassin's Creed. And like they have that series that took off, and like obviously trying to make like two competing things that are like similar in style, because like you're running across rooftops and doing all this like parkour stuff and traversal mechanics. It's like, oh, it's kind of the same, and it's like, oh, this is like a better 3D version. Although I think there's something to be said about having like specific linear challenges. Yeah,
and that's lost like a lot of the traps and things like that. Yeah,
it was definitely different. It was definitely an offshoot. But that's the thing is, a lot of these companies have these valuable IPs that, yes, it hadn't seen a new entry, and it was no longer like this juggernaut franchise like it was during like the PS2 era, PS3 era, and honestly, that's not like you still need to like it still behooves you to find ways to revitalize those franchises. And I really can't think of a better way other than like an amazing Sands of Time remake, which they already botched that so hard with just like the announcement of it and like it just cancellation or delays and what the hell's going on with it. But this one, The Lost Crown, I was like, this a potentially lower budget, different way forward for a series that like is sustainable. Mm-hmm. This is what more companies need to be looking at with their bevy of IPs that maybe no longer make sense to make as a AAA project, but still have value, still can provide really great experiences, really great, and take a different direction, like take a little bit of a risk. And honestly, we've been saying it before, like roguelite or Metroidvania seems to be like the best way to reinvent your franchise if it's been dormant for a while. Like take one of those two routes, and people seem to like love that. And so yes, I get it had a long lull from and some botched marketing with its other project, but this game, I think. I was so like impressed by it, and I felt like the media and the critics were very wowed by it.
Yeah,
it was
I think
getting
it has
so much
a
positive
86
coverage
Metacritic currently.
Yeah, I feel like it was getting so much positive coverage and had so much momentum that it just boggles my mind that they would not greenlight a sequel for this game. Like, look at what the what critics were saying maybe needed to be tweaked up. And maybe, but like again, it's not really even like the developers' fault. Again, it's Ubisoft. They did not have a good marketing strategy for this. They didn't have a good pricing strategy. Like they just dropped the ball with this.
Yeah. I'm
curious
honestly, too whether if there were areas where they kind of they overestimated how good it would do, so they gave it more budget than it needed. But I'm not sure if you can think of anything like that where it's like, maybe this could have been dialed back a little bit or anything. In terms of like cutscenes or VO or something along those lines.
I mean, this game, I'll be honest, like the narrative stuff of this game, the cutscenes were, I'll be honest, were a little low budge. They were like the still images, like not still. What do you call it when you take like images and animate them?
Sure.
But they're like
Like a
not
motion
actually.
comic?
Yeah, like a motion comic. Thank you. It was basically like that, where background effects, particle effects, and like images were like getting bigger or like moving slightly. That was it. And yes, there was VO, but there were no like everything else was mostly in-game visuals. And honestly, I felt like that game. I don't know, but I would guess. I didn't think that game had like the massive development budget to make that type of game. But maybe I'm wrong. But I think everything they did, putting the amount of resources they put into the first one. We talked about this with Yakuza series, how they love to reuse assets to get their games out faster and keep those costs down. That's why we keep getting these these new installments in them so quickly. This one could have easily had a sequel that reused a lot of assets, but in a different type of setting. Like,
because I imagine that even the kind of framework that they had to build for the engine and everything, probably they had to do a lot of work, because it's been a long time since they've had like a real strong 2D game, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you're just reusing all of that, the technical side of things, and making something completely different.
Yeah, but I still, yeah. I just think, no, sorry, I was getting confused because the thought I had before is like reusing assets doesn't inherently mean same setting.
Right.
I know we just went over this with like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, where it's like they reused assets. So people assume reuse assets. Oh, it's a sequel. Oh, it's the same damn world. That's not necessarily true. You reuse assets and make a completely different feeling world. To use Zelda again, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask reuses all of Ocarina's assets. That was the whole point of it. But it feels like Termina feels like a completely different world than Hyrule. So it's like you absolutely can achieve this. And Nintendo's like probably very good at doing that. But I think it could be done. Yeah. I don't know how much like. Yeah, I mean, and Ubisoft does have like 2D studios, the Rayman games. I know those are different, like they're not 3D, but they're like the 2D assets.
Right.
But like,
I'm just saying it's been a while since they've done a lot of that. I know they did make a Valiant Hearts sequel, but I feel like most of that team has moved on to other places. Yeah,
I just take like 2D or 2.5D games, even if they're using 3D models and just presenting it from a 2D perspective, generally means like a lower development budget, because you're not having to like render out as much things. So and honestly, like I think the aesthetics of the game looked really great. But I don't know if it was like too technically like demanding or anything like that. Obviously, I mean, they got it to run at a good frame rate on Switch. So yeah, I was gonna say it was pretty impressive running on Switch. So I mean, like, I think that's where you trade a little visual fidelity and for performance, and then like kind of dress it up with art direction. And I think they did a pretty good job of that. And yeah, it like also the way that game tackled difficulty. Like, I remember talking with Huber about this when it came out, when we talked about it on the podcast, or whatever we talked about it when it came out, that like it had those presets, but also you could go into any single one of them and like adjust like countless amount of options in there, from like parry window length to, you know, like dodge window length to enemy HP. It was like insane. And I love that because I told Ubers, like, I wanted it on a little bit more difficulty for, you know, I picked like a harder difficulty above normal, but then I tweaked the parry window because I'm terrible at that. I was like, I just need a little help there. And it was like the sweet spot. And I was like, this is perfect. Like, I wish more teams would look at this and try and give you that many options when it comes to like difficulty settings. So like that like thrilled me and like won me over immediately. And plus the exploration nature of it, like the Metroidvania nature, you could change options in there for how much guidance you wanted as well. You could completely turn off any kind of indication of where to go whatsoever, and you could crank it up all the way to I really need help. I'm bad at Metroidvanias, but I really love the action and combat in this game. So could you like maybe guide me a little bit more? And those were all adjustable as well. So having that many variables to customize felt really, you know, satisfying and rewarding and accommodating, honestly. And I really appreciate that. So we're also losing a little bit of that because I know Metroidvanias can be a little daunting for people because whether it's like the difficulty of the combat or just keeping track of so many things, I feel like this kind of nailed it for covering all its bases.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that was in there was that the developers working on it had also said that like the dynamics were great among the team, that it was like the best production of my life was like one of the quotes. And, you know, and so I saw a lot of people, like a lot of other developers, you know, commenting on this decision and just how baffling it is, because they're like, making a great game like is the hard part. Is like figuring out how to sell it is not as difficult if you have actually something great to sell, you know. And so it's like they're like, yeah, you should have like no matter what kept the team together. And it's like, even if you don't want to have them do another Prince of Persia game, like have them do something else and you know, keep that structure and that knowledge of working with each other together. Yeah,
that's a crying shame to like lose those positive vibes, because I was just in a thread about Sean Layden making remarks about Japan Studio recently.
I've seen that going around.
But people in there who work at other studios were talking about like it's legit, like the positive vibes versus like bad vibes and how it impacts your development and team morale. Like where you like it contributes to making games better when everything feels so positive at a studio, and it's very hard to achieve that. And once you have it, you really don't want to lose it. So the fact that they were able to achieve that kind of vibes in their studio environment, and then now it's being forcefully removed from them, it's like that's so difficult to achieve. And,
and one of the things that, you know, that studio in Montpellier is working on is Beyond Good and Evil 2, and it sounds like some of them had previously worked on that game before and was just talking about like the drudgery of it. And I was like, now they go back into the Beyond Good and Evil minds for whenever that game comes out.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting because like I know, I wish the studio could have had a better fate. Like I was trying to think of like ways this could have been like handled better, you know, but honestly, it's like kind of like whatever. Like it's what happened. You can't really change that. And I really wish that studio could like lend their talents to something else. I mean, any other type of like, you know, I obviously don't want to shoehorn them into like making Metroidvania style games forever, you know, because, you know, we don't want to do that studio, but would have been nice to see them get another like crack at that type of like a follow up to this, or at least like using what they learned from the first entry to make a follow-up Metroidvania style game of like any type. And maybe it wasn't Prince of Persia. Like I think they were talented enough that like if Nintendo wanted, they could have contracted them to make a new Metroid game. Like it would have been like like I was like, yeah, they got like the combat of it. Like we saw with Dread, it was like, oh, the parry system. I'm like, yeah, that obviously they've who was it before? Like they've had Mercury Steam, and they've had like their own internal studios. But it's like if you wanted to like keep making 2D style Metroid games, but I mean that's not Nintendo's MO. They take their time with all that. But there are other places that I think like your franchise could have like maybe used this. So hopefully, you know, the team can maybe come back somewhere else and take another crack at maybe like a different IP, and maybe even a publisher who might be a little bit more, supportive and understand, what it will take to keep expectations in check so that, it doesn't fail to meet expectations, yet it's a critically acclaimed game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, to be clear, they all still have jobs within Ubisoft. They're just
the
getting
team
spread apart, to different projects. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think Ubisoft is going to reassemble them there.
Right.
So it almost obviously job security is most important, so they need to do what's best for them. But I was just hypothetically saying, like, if they could all just walk out together and go form their own studio and contract with someone else. I mean, I would love to see what they'd have to do next, but you know what? No, who knows? Maybe there's going to be a change at Ubisoft in the near future. I don't know. Things have been kind of been going pretty poorly over there, so maybe there will be a changing of the guard. And
well, that was part of the theorizing too. Is that there's because of other games not doing as well, now there was more pressure on this one. That maybe if circumstances, big picture, have been different, then this not doing as well wouldn't have been as big of a deal for them. Mm-hmm. But
also, get that Ubisoft launcher. Get rid of that crap. you come on, Ubisoft. Yeah. You got to cut that crap out, man.
Because even if you have it tied to Steam or something, that's things
creating barriers, man. You got to stop this shit. Stop it, please.
Yeah.
It's getting old.
All right, next up, from another Metroidvania team, or is it? Sort of bad news, but hopeful news as well. Surgent Studios, makers of Tales of Kenzera Zao, which came out a couple of months after The Lost Crown, they announced that they are currently basically having to put their team and their work on hiatus. So they're wrapping up all of the little patches and tweaks that they've been making to Zao. But they don't have funding now for their next game, so they're basically in danger of having to let those people go and find jobs elsewhere. But surprisingly, since they've got this game that they're pitching to funders and publishers and stuff, they're like, all right, well, just show it to Eurogamer. So here, go ahead and show this, the key art here. Tales of Kenzera, Project Uso.
Okay.
And so this is still taking place in the Kenzera universe, but a totally different time. It is an Afro-futuristic gothic horror RPG.
All right.
It's top-down isometric RPG.
Oh, it said isometric.
Yep.
It's RPG, though. So.
Yeah. Which Eurogamer describes as having shades of Disco Elysium.
Oh,
Batman,
you're saying some magic words there.
Batman Arkham and Resident Evil.
So, okay, yeah.
Really a great, crazy mix of things. And yeah, and here's a concept art of what the game could look like, with final assets and stuff. And also just some crazy character stuff. You play as an android that also bears the soul of a god. And so you kind of have this split personality of having to war between the two selves within. So.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Banter dialogue like that, you gotta be a little careful, because I know, I imagine there'll be banter dialogue between those two entities. But that can be kind of difficult to get a good balance for that. But
yeah. So this image on the screen. So this is the physical form that you have on the left, and then the right is sort of the computer android personality. And then I didn't pull it in, but there's another shot that kind of shows more characters, and the god is like a separate depiction. So yeah, lots of craziness going on.
Yeah.
Isla, since the Disco Elysium comparisons and stuff, what are you thinking? What are you gleaning from that kind of pitch?
Yeah, it seems chill. I like Afrofuturism. I like Disco Elysium, obviously. Gothic horror. It's speaking my language. I hope that they get funding for this because it seems like they've kind of gotten not a fair shake. Like it seems like the quality they're putting out deserves more funding. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he had to go through all the challenges of like building a studio from scratch and putting a team together and figuring out how to put a game out for the first time. And
yeah,
so like they're getting ready for round 2.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because it's like, when he, had first tweeted out about like, hey, we're, need funding, we're looking to do funding for our next game. I was like, I was in. And then this Eurogamer article came out today. It's like, okay, now I'm really in.
Yeah, this seems cool. And it's nice because like I'm skeptical of all the like, oh, we're like Disco Elysium, and I'm like, just be like yourself, But the fact that Eurogamer said that and not them, I'm like, okay, cool. They're doing their own thing, and like other people can compare you to things, but yeah.
So, somebody out there, I don't know, Outer Sloth or
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
or somebody got some money, give it a look. Isla.
Yeah.
Yesterday we got Alan Wake to the lake house.
You damn right, baby.
Or was that the day after? I don't know. Some day before. Anyways, you started playing.
I sure did. Let me put this over here. Yeah, I played this. I played like 3 hours of it. I was focusing on finishing the game that we'll talk about next. But yeah, I'm super into it. Control vibes, lots of reading, lots of documents. Control is back. But yeah, you play as, what's her name? Estevez?
Yeah.
Yeah. She is in an Federal Bureau of Control office called the Lake House, which is there to, study the Caldera Lake
phenomenon.
Yeah, the terminus or whatever they call it. Threshold, there it is. And yeah, it's really cool so far. I really like it. The vibes are scarier, I would say. It's like more focused on kind of a horror like vibes. You're in the dark a lot of the time. You're in fighting against really weird like freakos. It's sick. I don't know. Like, what is there to say? It's more Alan Wake, except it's Alan Wake with Control sprinkled on top more so than before.
Yeah.
So you're just a person. And it seems, I was actually trying to figure out, because there was a document in the Lake House that refers to Director Trench as the current director. So I was like, okay, this is pre-Jesse Faden? Like, when does Alan Wake 2 take place compared to Control? Are they, like, at the same time?
I don't know about
remember.
that, but maybe, the document may, even though that it was, maybe the document isn't current, you're just finding the document?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But you don't seem to be, like, I don't think, Estevez is not a para-utilitarian, so she can't float and use crazy stuff, at least at the outset.
Right.
But it's getting into really interesting stuff. I don't know how much of the narrative you want me to get into, but so far it deals with the Marmonts, and they are the married couple who are running the lake house, but their marriage seems pretty fractured. They split into 2 projects and are kind of like vying for control of the lake house and like resources, taking resources away from each other to do their own projects. And they're studying the effects of art on like kind of the shadow and like the kind of like ability to shape reality. And they have 2 different tactics about that. One involving paintings and one involving a room full of thousands of typewriters. Ooh. And I think that's all I'll say about the story.
Yeah.
But it is sick as shit. Yeah, the oldest house is on lockdown, so anyone outside doesn't know that Jesse is the new director. Yeah. So that's what it was, because it was current to at least the beginning of Control, that letter I found, because it's talking about the oldest house being on lockdown. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, like, we'll talk about it more once Hubie is back. But
yeah,
like,
for sure. What
and
about
once we finished
weapons?
So far, I have a pistol and a shotgun.
Okay.
And I have a flashlight that I use, to weaken the, what are they called? The sunken or the drowned or whatever the hell.
Paint monsters.
No, the other guys.
Oh, the other guys. Okay.
So far, I've just run from the paint monsters. I've just avoided them because they were in like a kind of a maze-like area. So I was like, okay, I can just go.
Cool.
Because I was saving ammo. But yeah, it's cool so far. I'm really enjoying it. I look forward to playing more of it. There's some cool tie-ins to Control. Like pretty early, you find a video with Dr. Darling on it.
Yeah.
Which is sick. I love him. So yeah, I'm snacking on it. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to digging into that as soon as I get through my big thing that I can't talk about yet.
Ooh.
So, but you also have been playing Fear the Spotlight.
Yeah.
We put up some impressions of like the first half of the game earlier this week. So if you haven't watched that, definitely go do that. You will need to recap a little bit of that I left for people that haven't seen it yet, but I want to know what your final thoughts are. We know the developers want to know your final thoughts.
Yeah.
So.
So I finished Fear the Spotlight. I love this game. It is so good and so nice. And at the end of when you finish part of it, they say like, they have a little thank you note. They're like, we know our game's not perfect, but thank you for playing. And I was like, ooh. I was like, it's perfect to me. So the basic premise, for those who don't know, but watch our impressions video because Huber and I talk about it for like 20 minutes or 10 minutes. But yeah, you play as Vivian and you are with your friend Amy and you have broken into the school at night. Great teen vibes, doing your thing, like going into the school at night. What's better than that? You're going to use a spirit board to do a little seance. But you find out that Amy has, she got like a rose in her locker that's like burned up. And she says, I think it might have something to do with the fire that was in the school in 1991. And you see like a memorial for the
It didn't come with a
students and
note
stuff.
about the Dodgers, did it?
No, it didn't.
Check the group stream if you want that reference.
Yeah, if you want to know what he's talking about. But yeah, so, you do the seance and predictably things get a little creepazoid. And then Amy suddenly disappeared. And Vivian has to figure it out. Go find her. Go save her. I will say that having beaten the game, you unlock something incredible that I don't know how much I should say about it, but it's like you unlock. It's something evocative of this. The era in which this game is paying homage, some games had a feature where you get a lot more value out of the game after you beat it the first time. It's got a B story, and it's really, really good. And at first I thought that it would be just kind of like a, it does not insist upon itself. At first I thought it would be...
Those eyes.
Is better over here? Where is
the
it?
eyes creeping out from around the corner.
Dude, this game, seriously, for being a low poly, the atmosphere is so strong. The vibes are really good. It is a scary... Like, there's no combat to speak of. It's mostly hiding and running. And like puzzle solving and exploration and story, but like it has the perfect balance to me of all of those elements. Like nothing you read is too long. Like that's my complaint about the Lake House is like, I want to read all this stuff, but it's all like 5 times longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Control
is like, this is all awesome, but there's so much.
Yeah. Lake House is continuing in that.
Okay.
Whereas this is like, hey, here's a note between students, and it's like 4 sentences, and you're like, sick, and let me fast forward in that so it's gameplay and not me and Hubie talking. But yeah, it's about bullying. It's about like there's a queer kind of like maybe budding romance happening. You know, I love it. It's so good. It's so nice. It's so wonderful. Like the vibes are just perfect in this game. Yeah, I mean I could gush about it a bunch, but I don't want to like spoil anything more than I already have. But absolutely, I recommend Fear the Spotlight. I really loved it. I don't know how much it costs. It is a very short game. AB probably 5 hours. But like, I always compare things to a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like you go to a movie,
$20.
it's $20. You go to a movie, you and your best gal, that's $30-$40 right there, you know? And this is giving you twice that length of time in entertainment, you know? And for the price of one movie ticket. Here in LA, that's not too bad, you know? No, this game's a winner. Yeah, super, super good and perfectly timed for Halloween.
Yeah.
So yeah, big old wreck from yours truly in this. I truly love this game. It's like one of my favorite of the year. So this and Indica, I think, are like my favorite games this year. A couple of weirdo indie games. All right, yeah, that's that.
Heck yeah. We've got more to come, but if you've been enjoying the show so far, please take a second to like and subscribe and ring that bell on YouTube. Tell all your friends about it. It helps us and it helps you stay connected. And now, a word from our sponsor.
When you think about the businesses that are selling through the roof, like Allbirds and Skims and Cotopaxi and stuff, obviously you think about their products, and maybe you think about their website design and all that stuff. But like, do you ever think about the business that makes their business run? Do you think about the people who are making your shopping experience work correctly? For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not-so-secret secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales are going. So, if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Allbirds and Cotopaxi and Death Wish Coffee and Magic Spoon and Heinz and Mattel are using. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/allies, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/allies to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/allies.
And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. Okay, it is time for that September sales report.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very interesting this month, Damiani. We got a lot of little juicy bits to get into. For everyone's refresher, this is from Matt Piscatella of Circana. It came up in the comments last week. I usually say this, but sometimes, it goes a while without it. These are U.S. only sales tracked by dollars. That's how they're ranked. Worldwide sales are a whole other thing. We don't really get comprehensive worldwide sales numbers. You only get like when Sony or Nintendo or somebody does a report, and they share what they want to share. Xbox doesn't usually share everything we want them to share, like all of that kind of thing, right? So just so you have context, this is more about, seeing where the trends are than like the giant overall big picture. But the U.S. market is a big part, and it tells us a lot. So first of all, September is down 6% compared to a year ago. Hardware dropped 44%. And content,
fatigue.
Content is down 3%.
Content's down, everybody.
Yeah.
Get those content creators out there.
On the mobile side, the big story apparently this month is Brawl Stars, a game that I cannot even picture in my head, which had a SpongeBob collaboration that
Okay, that'll do it.
caused its spending to surge 64% compared to the previous month.
It was a SpongeBob month. They had the
Yeah.
Wendy's thing too. I mean, SpongeBob is
Yeah.
back. I don't think actually SpongeBob never went away.
No. And then on that hardware side, some interesting things here. Xbox Series consoles dropped 54% compared to last September. PS5 is down 45%. Switch is down 23%.
All right.
So a bit different than where things were at last month.
Okay.
But Piscatella shared some stuff that we usually don't see. These are some interesting hardware numbers. So Xbox Series X made up 58% of Xbox hardware in September. So the other portion of that is Series S. However, life to date,
Yeah.
the Series X is 51%.
So it's pretty close.
Yeah, Series S is like almost half of that entire generation for Xbox.
All right.
So when we
interesting.
heard about developers talking about S holding them back and stuff like that, like this is why there's a lot of people buying that console because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, this has always been the case. The cheaper one generally uses out the premium one. I mean, at launch, it feels like the premium one might like sell out because it's an enthusiast thing and people want it. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can even look at it like now, like the PS5 Pro. You can still pre-order it everywhere. Yeah, when you get things too expensive, people don't want it. But I mean, it is very interesting to hear this because the breakdown's so close that they have to games need to definitely be supported on S because you're going to lose almost half your install base if you abandon that. And I mean, sure, you say obviously people want a cheaper system, but you could also be like, maybe there's an argument for maybe not making 2 SKUs next time. I mean, because you did because of that technological split and some developers having trouble getting things running properly on the S version of their games that maybe don't underestimate a cheaper model. I don't know. Did Microsoft ever say they expected the S to be like that close or
I don't think so, but yeah. But we also similarly have numbers for PS5. So on PS5, 40% of consoles in September were digital only. The version without the disc drive.
Oh,
yeah.
That doesn't too terribly surprise me since the swing all these sales reports keep showing the swing is definitely been moving towards digital, that we're almost there where it's going to be the majority for like everything. So that's not too terribly surprising.
Yeah. Life to date on the digital version is 18% of PS5s.
Okay, so it is pretty much lower.
Yeah.
But also going forward, that you have to get the disc drive separately now on all models. That
Yeah, they're
exist.
making it like more difficult to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna track that. Like, will all future PlayStation 5 sales just be counted as digital only, or will? Yeah, I don't know how you even work that out, but that actually doesn't surprise me because I do feel like the physical media with like PlayStation, if given the option, if all things being like close to obviously like the digital ones, like how much cheaper is it now? I don't remember how much.
It was $100 at launch. I don't know if that's changed with the price changes, but I think it's still probably roughly in that ballpark.
Yeah, because there's no like power discrepancy between them. I think people like still want to have a way to. I feel like it needed to be like maybe a little bit significantly cheaper for it to change those percentages to bring it a little bit closer, like you saw with Microsoft. But also, I wonder how much is it impacted by like overall Microsoft sales being probably much lower than Sony or Nintendo.
Right.
So maybe that has something to factor in as well. Yeah, I guess I was just trying to say I'd really like to hear if they have any like statements ever, if they could get more, if Piscatella can maybe like reach out to, some of these executives over there and be like, can you give me a comment for my report for this? Because I'm curious if this falls in line with their expectations or if they're shocked. We're gonna have to wait for those GDC discussions in 10 years when they're no longer working at the company, when they're allowed to talk about it, right?
Yeah. Or at least, the quarterly statements and things if they get into that at all. Because I think they do, they do talk about their digital sales and their,
Also, we don't know. I don't know what Sony's breakdown in production was. If they were making more disc versions versus discless for the OG model of PlayStation 5 versus now. I don't know if there was that could also possibly factor into that as well.
Yeah. But I do think it's an interesting dynamic to where even if people me for a good example, it's I almost everything I get on PS5 is digital. I have a handful of discs, but I still want that disc drive because of that. Because somebody might want to give me a game for Christmas or for whatever random reason, I might see something, in the bargain bin at Walmart, it's well, grab it. I think that's actually Resident Evil Village or something like that. Was whatever the first PS5 game that I got on a disc was, it was because of that. I had gotten a Walmart gift card, right? So it's all right, well, let me go buy a game at Walmart, and so having a disc drive allows me to do that. Otherwise, I'd be running around do I need another controller or or whatever,
Yeah. I mean, I would want to just write too for the one day I finally watch a Blu-ray on my actual system. I feel like I did
That's
that
what my
more
old
with
hardware
PlayStation
4 now.
PlayStation 4. I definitely watch more
that.
Blu-rays on my PS4. I don't know if I think the only thing I've ever watched on my PS5 in the past since I've had it is maybe Advent Children to prep for when the theatrical re-release or first release over here earlier this year before Rebirth came out. I wanted to watch I wanted to watch it again to see if there was any differences or anything like that. But other than that, I have these 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays ready to go. I just someday I'll get around to it. But I want that disc drive. That's why I bought one of the separate disc drive add-ons for PlayStation just in case. For some weird reason, my PS5 dies, I need to get a new one, and Slims are the only ones. It's well, cool. I'll get the cheaper one, and I got this. If they stop making the disc versions, they're all completely gone, and the resale market for them is just too ridiculous for sure.
All right, are you ready for this top 20?
All right,
you need to get in on this too. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask my question?
Ask your question.
All right, where is Mario Kart 8? And where was it last month? Where was it last month, and where is it now?
18 or 14 last month?
Last month, I want to say it was 14th, somewhere around there.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. All right, so...
Because this month, it is gone, Damiani.
Wait, it is?
It is not there.
Let's go! Switch 2 announcement is coming. I don't know if it's happening this month, but next month. Because it's September. All right. How much time do we have left in this month?
And for October, we've got
it's not happening next week. All right, and it's not happening election week. So November. Absolutely in November. Sometime after the week of November 4th. So the week of November 10th, 11th, the week of November 12th. We are sometime within 3 weeks of that. We are getting the Switch 2 announcement. Lock it in. This is the best news ever. This is great. We are finally
done the angelic lighting. Oh wait, that's this one.
Yes. This is. I mean, I'm sad to see it go because it had such a long streak, but we are. It is time. It is time. And you know what else leads credence to this? That Yuka Replay, whatever it's called, trailer dropped today, said for Nintendo. Didn't say Switch, for Nintendo. It's happening. They saw this report too, and they're like, we got the green light to put for Nintendo on here. Oh, yeah. So November reveal. And all right. I like this. This is going to be good because then maybe they can have a big game announcement at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I'm curious whether they do anything at Game Awards.
Was there anything else? Oh, there obviously has to be something else for Nintendo on there because September was Zelda.
Yep.
It's just where Zelda ended up.
Zelda debuted at 4th.
All right.
Pretty good digital only.
Yeah, that's without digital, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. There's no digital sales from Nintendo.
I was
digital, I mean.
I was a little I knew it was probably going to sell well, but I also like had some concerns because of like it, like being presented a little bit, various reasons. But I was like, I always truly believed like it'd be, it would place pretty well. So that's a pretty good sign. I guess yeah. Obviously, it was never going to do like Breath of the Wild or 2's The Kingdom numbers, but that seems like a pretty good opening spot for it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty pleased to hear. I know there's been like some back and forth over the nature of people who think that game was good or not, but I fall in the camp that thinks it was pretty good.
Yeah.
What about Astrobot?
Astrobot,
I imagine
second
that's
place.
What beat it?
What beat it?
Yeah, what beat it? What beat Astrobot?
What beat Astrobot?
Probably a sports game.
EA Sports FC25, Damiani.
Okay, you soccer football fans. All right.
Not only was it the highest for this month, it is the best launch any soccer game has ever had.
Okay, if that's what it takes to beat Astrobot. All right, Astrobot gracefully accepts second place. That's their consolation prize. All right. That is amazing for Astrobot. Very excited to hear that. And I mean, very promising. Like, I mean, you knew we were gonna get like Team is always gonna like make way more Astrobot games. Obviously, they should be allowed to make other games too. But like we're talking about like games that are gonna get greenlit for a sequel right away because this one also sold well though, so it was expected. Yeah, that we know they have the DLC plan. It's just like, will a sequel come out this generation, or are they going to save that sequel to maybe like a launch title with the PlayStation 6? That's where I'm sitting at right now. I'm kind of like curious about that.
I think if they do another Astro, it'll probably still be this gen.
All right. I think it's going to be pretty long.
Kind of like towards the Swan Song side of things, but yeah.
Oh yeah, this that is great news and a good win for like a Japanese studio over at Sony because there was some very controversial news this week with Sean Layden's remarks on Japan studio. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's good to see that. That's a good win. It's a very good game, very deserving of that. And if you still haven't played it, yeah, that along with like several other games like make it absolutely worth getting a PlayStation 5 for. So I'm curious though if this will be a PC release at some point though. Do you think
that's a weird one? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think this might end up, or do you think they will keep this console exclusive because of the references? Like
honestly, I could see them doing either way, but I think this, like, there is a little bit more of a thing of like maybe this thing stays on PlayStation because of that. Yeah, because it's all about the PlayStation. It's like you're flying around on a PlayStation controller the whole time. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Like, you would have to play it on PC on a PlayStation controller to even have the same experience.
That's right. Yeah. That's true. I mean, obviously I'm not completely against having more references in the sequel, but like I also would be pretty open and welcoming to a sequel being more less reliant on PlayStation history and references, more like original content in there, so it's not like leaning so heavily onto that, because I think it's kind of difficult to do that so soon. Like, imagine how many years are between each Smash Brothers game, and if those came out too soon, like how kind of like played out that would feel. I do imagine that they might like cut back a little bit on that and be a little bit more original. Yeah.
So we got 5 more new entries on here. So if either one of you have any thoughts, any guesses.
For September?
Because
that's pre-Diablo 4 expansion.
Yep. There's some stuff that we played on there, though.
Who can remember?
It's gotta be more. Well, we had Madden the month before.
Oh, Silent Hill 2, yeah. No, that's October.
That would be October.
Yeah, it's October. Yeah.
The October list is gonna be easier.
Where's did we have any other sports games? I can't remember if it's
there
September
are a couple
or October.
More sports, a couple more sports games.
Madden.
Madden was last month, but that is still at third place.
Still there, yeah.
NHL and NBA seasons started, so are those on there?
Yep, both of them. 7th for NBA, not counting digital sales because 2K doesn't do digital.
Oh, it's 2K. Okay, it's 2K.
Yeah, and then NHL 25 is in 9th place.
EA. Okay.
So yeah, so we got some kind of throwbacks.
Yeah. Fuck. Did Did Final Fantasy 16 get any kind of meaningful bump? From
Got a
the PC
very
release?
meaningful bump. It got
Oh, where'd it
it went from 144th to 12th.
Okay. I mean, that's a
Whoa.
big bump.
Yeah.
Then where was what was the other one that came out? God of War.
God of War went from 29th to 10th
Okay.
On PC because of the PC release.
because of the PC.
Yeah, they both had like PC releases. That's why I remembered God of War, because people were arguing about the concurrent users on Steam for both those games to judge their success.
Oh yeah.
That's why I remember them. All right, that's a pretty nice bump. Still wish that PC release could be closer together, but be more interesting to see what happens with.
We got two of these are very, very Huber-centric games.
Huber-centric
Huber.
games, horror games.
Stuff that he's been playing.
Oh, where the remake? That was last month, right? The Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Was it remastered?
Interestingly, yeah, the Dead Rising Deluxe remaster, just the way they categorize things sometimes, ended up bundled in with just Dead Rising. So, but Piscadella said it was like 98% of the sales were the remaster.
Oh, okay.
So we went from 502 to 11th place.
They bumped up the old. Oh, that's dirty.
That's
Okay.
goofy.
Okay.
And the other
What about-
one was another long-awaited franchise that came back.
Just came back.
One that we have not gotten to play yet, but we want to.
Life is Strange?
No, that's not even out yet.
That's not even out yet.
Well, I guess the first two episodes
Yeah.
are, but yeah. Think of your other friends that are not here, Damiani.
My other friends that are not here.
Dawn?
Dawn?
No. It's Marvel versus Capcom.
Oh, the collection.
man.
That was
16th place.
because of the digital. Sorry. Okay. When you said that, I was like, no, that's not even. But the digital version is out. The physical version comes out this month. So okay.
So, that'll be interesting to see how that, changes things up.
Gotcha. I forgot that was a digital first release. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that whatsoever. That charted. That's pretty good. Where'd it go?
16th.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like Marvel, yeah, that I think that's pretty good for a retro collection like that. So I mean, I think Marvel vs. Capcom historically does better than Street Fighter. I might need to double check me on that, but I think like MVC3
Maybe that one
proportionally
specifically.
sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think MVC3 did did very well comparatively to like Street Fighter 4 or 5 or even so far 6 maybe. We'll have to see. Yeah.
And then the other one is Warhammer Space Marine 2. Got an 18th place, but they also don't report digital sales. So
Okay.
so that would definitely be a big differentiator there.
That's pretty good.
Anything else you're curious about on the charts before we go down the full list?
Imagine usual things. Minecraft still on there because people always say GTA 5 or Minecraft.
Minecraft is still there, 14th place.
If that falls off, that is like then we're getting Minecraft 2.
Yeah. Then
No,
they announce a new Windows.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the new PC will be out.
GTA is not on the monthly chart, but it was on the year-to-date chart. I remember somewhere in there,
course,
like the
of
bottom
course.
half of it somewhere.
Of course, that's always gonna be a top seller. Yeah, GTA.
You did bring up Madden. I didn't get to these. So EA Sports College Football 25 is now the all-time best-selling football video game in U.S. dollar sales. The record was previously held by Madden NFL 07.
But Madden 25 is ahead of it. Where'd you say Madden? was?
This month Madden is ahead by two spots. Like Madden is,
And Madden had to be number one in its month of debut.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So Madden is in third place right now. EA Sports College Football 25 is in fifth place right now.
Oh, how many?
And then you got this dumb bundle, which is still there in like 20th place, that has both the games in it.
I guess I forget how many months EA College football has been on the mark?
It's been like 3, I think. So EA Sports College Football sales in these rankings exclude volume from the EA Sports MVP bundle, which is tracked separately. So that makes everything weird.
I imagine Madden NFL will surpass it before the end of the year, though.
Because EA Sports College Football 25 now ranks number 2 among all sports games in U.S. dollar sales, trailing only NBA 2K21. All sports games.
But it's below Madden, and with only one more month.
But it's huge. It's still like the best-selling game of the year. It's absolutely huge.
So its first month on the market, it must have been like done way more than Madden did in its first month.
I'm guessing.
That has to be. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Since we don't get numbers anymore, this is where
Madden,
it starts driving me insane.
So right on the year to date, college football is first. The bundle is 4th, and Madden is 7th.
Okay.
So that's how it kind of
all right.
plays
then,
out there.
Okay. This is the trap of just seeing rankings and dollar signs and not seeing the units sold.
Yeah. So it's Madden NFL 07 still holds the unit sales record for football, but this college sports
that was the first PlayStation 3 one, right? The one with Donovan McNabb on it, or is that?
Yeah, that would be right. Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
that would be the one. And I think that year 2 is probably a weird because you had the new PS3 game, but they made a separate PS2 game still, right? Like they like that was one of those strange times when like the old gen versions were better, but the new gen versions were prettier.
Oh, sorry. The cover and 7 cover athlete was Sean Alexander. I'm sorry. It was the Seahawks. Sean Alexander was the cover athlete for mine. 2006 was Donovan McNabb.
Got it.
You should apologize.
Yeah,
would
We
never.
were
I was
all
off
so
by
pissed.
Never know.
We were all so pissed about that, Debbie.
Yeah, I was off.
Okay, full top 20. 20th place, EA Sports MVP bundle.
Blood, please, it's pronounced EA Sports.
19th place is Ghost of Tsushima. 18th is Space Marine 2. 17th is Age of Mythology. Remember that remaster came out as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
16th is Marvel vs. Capcom. 15th is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on its way out right before the new one comes in.
Oh, of course.
14th is Minecraft. 13th is Elden Ring, still holding in there strong. 12th is Final Fantasy 16. 11th is Dead Rising. 10th is God of War Ragnarok. 9th is NHL. 8th is Hogwarts Legacy, still sticking in there. 7 is NBA 2K25. 6, Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh.
Still hanging in there. Yeah.
Not too bad of a drop.
5th is college football. 4th is Zelda. 3rd is Madden. 2nd is Astrobots. And 1st is EA Sports FC 25. And now we got Gabby on the desk. Hey. She's going to be with us the rest of the episode.
I'm Gabby.
Largely starting out because you got to play through all of Wilmot Works It Out, which just came out today.
Yeah, I didn't need to finish it, but this game is crack cocaine. So I finished it. This is definitely going to be on my list of like best games to play in one night at the end of the year. If you don't know, if you haven't played Wilmot's Warehouse, this is the sequel to Wilmot's Warehouse. You play a white square who owns a small business.
I mean, I've been playing a white square all my life. But...
Whoa. Please clip that.
Oh, yeah, that's the new stinger.
You play a white square named Wilmot who owns a small business, which is like selling colored blocks to people. And in Wilmot Works It Out, so it's an organization game. You have to organize like dozens and dozens of these little colored blocks that have like a little pattern on them, and then people will request blocks from you, and then you have a time limit where you're grabbing all the blocks and you're racing around, and hopefully you're organized enough to get them all in time. So in Wilmot Works It Out, you are Wilmot at home. Whoa! Sorry, I'm seeing things in the trailer that I didn't see in the actual game. Ooh.
Oh.
So in Wilmot Works It Out, you're Wilmot at home. You are subscribed to a puzzle box service that is delivering puzzle pieces to you every week, and then you're solving the puzzles.
But it's interesting because when you open up a box, like they're all jumbled together, right?
Yes,
so you don't know how many pictures we're even making at any given time.
Exactly. And then you only get a new box once you solve one of the puzzles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to solve everything from the box. You just get another box.
Because it'll give you, like, the first box you can solve a full puzzle, but there's like 2 or 3 leftover pieces.
Oh,
and then
okay.
The next box you get, you'll probably be able to solve. Those leftover pieces will fit into the new puzzle. And then it gets harder and harder in that, like, at first you can use pattern and color to know that, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to, use these pieces together, etc. But then they start to use patterns. They start to reuse patterns and reuse colors. So it gets more and more complicated. And it's a blast. It's less... The first one is really fun, but it's also stressful because there's a time limit.
Right.
On this, there's no time limit. You're just moving blocks around.
And worth noting that this is kind of a quick turnaround just in terms of release schedule because it's the same guys that are behind Flock, which just came out a couple months ago. But yeah, really, really nice look. Really easy to understand how the game works, and it reminds me of A Little to the Left.
Yes, totally.
Just where you can just sit down and chill out and solve some puzzles and things.
It's very relaxing. If you like, the music is good, but there's no dialogue or anything. So if you're the type that likes to listen to a podcast when you game, this is perfect.
Nice, yeah.
Great for a flight, just chilling out. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's my hope is that we get a Switch version that comes before my Christmas flights.
I played the first one on Switch, so it will probably eventually come to Switch.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else? The trailer does show like decorating your house a little bit too, and wallpapers.
So after you solve a season of puzzle boxes, then you unlock like rooms of your house. It's not really anything. Like, you just move those images to like your bedroom or your whatever. It's not really, that's not fleshed out at all. When you beat the game, you unlock marathon mode, which is you just get delivered like 6x6 blocks, so 36 blocks of random puzzle pieces from all of the puzzles. I truly don't know how that's possible, like how it's possible to play that or how that's even fun. But you unlock that if you beat the game.
Sick. Any thoughts or questions from anyone else?
Looks
I just
sick.
keep saying the cat.
Yeah, you adopt a pet partway through.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Can you pick the pet?
a dog or a cat.
Oh, cute.
Oh, wow, you can.
Very nice.
The 2 genders.
Yes.
Also this week, Steven Totillo reported that Netflix is shutting down their AAA studio, Team Blue, less than 2 years after they started hiring. I love that you're all sighing because I was complaining about this online.
Huge eye roll.
They had picked up some big names, including Joseph Staten from Bungie and 343, Rafael Grassetti, who had 10 years at Sony Santa Monica and was like their overall art director on the new God of War games.
Dude, what's his name?
Raphael Grassetti.
Raphael Grassetti, okay.
And then Chaco Sonny, who was the executive producer for Overwatch. And then apparently 35 people around that number for the team being laid off because they just decided, I guess we won't make a AAA game. Let's not do that. Before they had time to do anything.
I have so many questions. Like,
right.
Yeah.
why did... I always say this, but this is hubris. Why did Netflix think, like, if Google's going to try to do this, if Amazon's going to try to do this, and it has not worked out, why would Netflix think that this would work for them? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the leading things that I saw was that, like, 2 years ago, like, gaming was really high, and now gaming is really down. But it's like this is not how AAA games work,
Right, like, you have to invest in the future of a product, not just be like, oh, well, we're not making money after 2 years, which is, like, no time in game development.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So that's what
panic and
that's
fire
basically what I
everyone.
joked about online. Was just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, it's like, let's get into AAA games, get the best of the best. If they get the best of the best of the best gives them a project schedule and a budget, and they're like, LOL, bye.
Yeah, like, wait, no, but wait, we wanted it faster and better.
Or yeah, I wonder if it was like a general strategy change and shift at Netflix.
It sounds like somebody new came in and changed things around, but still.
it seems. I think the C-suite of Netflix churns pretty quick.
Yeah,
From what I've seen.
yeah.
But yeah, and also they probably didn't have as much bite on people playing games over Netflix, so they were like, no one's doing it.
And that was the goal, that they
wonder.
were going to have people play the AAA game on Netflix?
Well, no, I think this was actually going to be of a more multi-platform approach. I mean, even a lot of the games that they are publishing, like Ranger, have been on multiple platforms.
Right. I mean, I played Terra Nova?
Terra Nil.
Terra Nil. I played Terra Nil on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like on
It's a
my
cute
iPad.
game.
Yeah, it was a cute game. And it was great. It was fine to play on Netflix, but like, yeah.
And that's what's weird. Like this did not really surprise me at all. I'm
No.
like annoyed at it because it was, to me, very predictable because I don't know what the heck they're doing, right? Like Netflix games has been around for, I don't know, a couple years, right? And they've, been buying up studios like Night School, and they've been hiring, and apparently like even their rates for who they're hiring is like, they're like wanting to attract people. They're giving them really high rates compared to some other places in the industry. And yet it's like, okay, nobody knows that Netflix games exist.
Yeah.
That's
was
what I was gonna say.
just
It's like no one knows.
Just like a month or two ago, is like they were hiring for a community manager, and it's like, oh, okay, that's why nobody knows.
Damn,
It's like,
yeah.
where, like, what are you actually doing? Like, what is the plan? And it's like, yeah, it's one thing to like, and one of the conversations that kind of had back and forth on this is like, it's like, because people were saying, it's like, yeah, like they're spending money, and it's like, yeah, they're spending money, but like, I don't think with this they realized like how long was it going to take them to get the return on the money.
Exactly. And
it's like they didn't want to wait 6 years for the AAA game to come out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think everyone wants to be like in on the cool trend. Mm-hmm. And the cool trend is for everyone to have their own game studio.
Yeah.
So Netflix probably felt behind, or like, the C-suite at Netflix was like, what if we have a game studio, which like, didn't work for anyone else. So yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
if
were
I
like,
know
my uncle
executives,
has a game studio.
yeah, exactly.
I want a game studio.
Exactly.
But yeah, it reeks a lot of what Google did with Stadia.
Yep.
It's
yep,
like,
yep.
like, cool, you just got all of these awesome people to leave their jobs, move their families, and now have to go look for work in the worst time to look for work in this industry.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like there should be like, I mean, it's complicated, and I don't know how you would like judge it and like enforce it, but like, it does feel it's like so irresponsible of these big companies to do that kind of stuff. Like you said, like it's upheaving people's lives.
10 years at Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, like people are moving, people are restructuring, people, and then Google just shutters Stadia, Netflix just shutters this. It's like, okay, but like, do you owe anything to these people then for like upending everything in their life. Like, I don't.
I'm sure that they're gonna get pretty generous severance packages.
Sure.
and all
I will say,
that.
like-
I mean, I hope so.
Like if you're an executive, you have like a contract or whatever that says, if this doesn't last longer than this, we'll pay you out whatever. But if you're not an executive, you don't have that. You just get severance. Yeah.
Severance season 2, dude. See that trailer?
It's just annoying to like not have a long-term commitment when you set up something like this. Yeah.
And it's also
Exactly.
these corporations say, they set these up with such confidence. Like with Stadia, didn't Google literally say we're not going to shut this down?
Oh yeah.
They literally
promise.
said that.
We're not going to shut this down like we do with everything. Like don't worry, guys. And then they just shut it down.
Yeah. Damiani.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the thought I was gonna say.
I interrupted you.
No. Sorry. Yeah. The other cost, the loss from this is that sure maybe they do get their severance and get their pay, but like they were uprooted from, as you said, from these prominent studios,
Yeah.
and if they had stayed there, what other projects like their talent? These talent. It's a shame to see the talent not being utilized, and like how many years of that their lives now showing nothing to show for it. I guess where in another timeline, if they were knew how this was going to play out and they just stayed put, or maybe moved somewhere else where they could have still been making an actual game that sees the light of day. That's like that other, not quite opportunity cost, but like that hypothetical cost. It's like, oh. Yeah, that kind of sucks that, that prominent talent was being underutilized in that regard. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Better news. It Takes Two, the co-op, co-op platformer from Hazelight and EA Originals, has now sold 20 million.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Which is pretty nuts for a game that requires a second person to play with you. Yeah.
Joseph Ferris is laughing all the way to the bank.
Right.
And
as usual.
Did they announce their next one yet?
I don't think they have. They've been teasing it.
Yeah, didn't
So,
he?
Game
He
Awards.
like tweeted
Game
something
Awards.
cryptic the other day. I feel like.
All right. So Game Awards are real.
I think he might have like shown some people in mocap suits at some point too. But
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Gotcha. I didn't know if there was. I don't know anything. I just didn't know if they had actually announced it, and I forgot.
with the announcement of Spider-Man 2 for PC, Insomniac confirmed that there will not be any story DLC.
Is
for
there
that
any
game.
chance they could be lying?
Yeah, like a lot of people thought. Yeah, they were so convinced it was going to happen, right?
Well, yeah, because of the hack, the stolen pitch decks and things. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That and the first game had a lot of really
They
good
did.
DLC.
Yeah.
So
To the point that it was almost exhausting.
Right,
like when you
exactly,
try to play
exactly.
it
It's like a
afterwards,
full-
I'm like, there's a lot.
how many there were 3 DLCs, right?
I don't remember exactly.
It's something like
There
that,
were-
but each
there
of
were
them
2
were
or 3, but
so
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they'll do a Miles Morales-esque, like smaller game.
That's been actually the thing that like maybe one of these DLCs got started spinning up and like, okay, this is gonna be we can make more money off of this if we sell it separately than
For
make it a DLC.
$40 or $50
Yeah.
or whatever, rather than $10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damiani, Super Nintendo World is back. Opening at Universal Epic Universe Park in Orlando, Florida, May 22nd, 2025.
Pack your
Cool.
bags, everybody.
Yeah. I think Don might be the first one to get out there.
Probably.
I think tickets now already went on sale, I think.
Oh, yeah.
There was something about like a package where you have to like, if you book at one of the hotels that are being built at the park, you get like easier access to tickets, but it's like
or
4
maybe
night stay
early.
minimum, and it's like almost $300 a night for the
Sheesh.
cheapest one. But I mean, people are saying like compared to any kind of Disney park, it's not as bad as they thought. Especially considering Disney just announced that like Lightning, whatever the new Lightning Pass thing they just announced. That's like it's 400. It could be up to like $400 something
A person?
a day, a person per day. That lets you like
What?
it guarantees so Lightning, you have to come through a window or whatever.
Yeah.
You could buy it and you have to schedule it in the morning. This
at Universal,
guarantee
yeah.
this for Disney. This version of it guarantees you can use it on any ride, and no worry about booking. Whatever, you can just show up and access that lightning line or
too
whatever.
many people had the first one, I guess, and
Yes.
it became too crowded. Great.
Yes. So now they added another one, and it's like variable
Disney to the
pricing.
ground.
It's as cheap as $140 per person a day, up to like $400 something.
So wait, this
Surge
is
pricing.
Because
Okay.
Lightning Lane is what it's called at Universal. That's what
Disneyland
you're
was
talking
a
about?
mistake.
Are
Sorry,
you talking about
Genie Plus
Pass.
or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah, Genie Plus.
Yeah,
Genie
yeah,
Plus
yeah.
is so weird and convoluted. It's irritating. And then you had to, like in this super expensive one, do you have to also still pay the $20 per person booking for like Rise of the Resistance and like the big ticket rides? Because
No,
like you
so
had to do that too.
You don't do that at all. So their Genie Plus system will be replaced by two new systems: the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Lightning Lane
It is
Single
called
Pass.
Lightning Lane. Okay.
Implemented, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it is Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Lightning Lane Single Pass.
That's what they call it at Universal. That's
it's gonna be,
isn't it?
yeah.
That's so weird.
a la carte pass available for the most popular attractions at the park. It basically, you don't have to worry about time or scheduling. You don't have to go rush in the morning on the app to reserve spots.
You can just show up.
You just show up whenever you want, once per ride of any of the rides that use it, and then and you can there's a whole bunch of other customizable options, but it ranges from like per person $140 on top of your existing Disney ticket you have to
People
buy,
need to start.
so
or
crazy.
to $480 or something like that. Yeah.
That's
like-
nuts.
I mean, you can just be like me and be too poor to afford it.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
It's just so. You know what? Whatever.
It's confusing. It's so confusing the way they do it. Because we would always get the Genie Pass because it was only like $20 a person at first, but then for the good rides you had to pay $20 more per person, so that got costly. So I wonder if this is taking into like thought like if you're the kind of person who's gonna buy all of these anyway, this will save you $10 or something.
yeah.
But like that's so nuts.
Monster Hunter Wilds is getting an open beta next week. Early access for PlayStation Plus subscribers on the 28th. Then it's going to open up to everybody across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on Halloween. Quote, the open beta test will include 3 separate experiences, the complete character creation tool, with character creation data that will be transferable to the full game upon release, a story trial, and the free roaming Doshiguma hunt.
So this sounds like what we did at whatever that was that we did this at.
Gamescom? Nice.
Because we did the Doshiguma hunt. And it was awesome because it kept crashing. So we got to basically do it 4 times in a row. Because it would crash like right before we beat them. It was awesome.
Gotcha. I got the Lightning Lane name wrong. It's Lightning Lane Premier Pass. I'm sorry. They already made a Lightning Lane. They already changed everything in July to Lightning Lane something, but this Lightning Lane Premier Pass.
You got to shape up, Damiani.
It's a Disney.
That
And the
cover
Disneyland
athlete, now
version,
this.
the California one,
2
is just a
strikes.
flat $400 a day. You can't. There's and then
Jesus Christos, dude.
because it
That's
launches,
so
it
much.
launched
Such a
like
ripoff.
today. Launched today. And then starting next year, it'll have a variable rate ranging from $300 to $400 on top of your ticket. Good luck.
Monetizing enjoyment and fun.
Good
How
Lord.
dare you,
This is
corporation?
It doesn't
Yeah.
feel good to be priced out.
No.
Like, it doesn't feel good.
Disney suck.
Korean publisher NCSoft, best known for their MMOs, is splitting apart into 4 smaller companies. 3 development studios and 1 that's just focused on AI.
No.
Oh, boy.
No.
No.
1 team will continue to work on Throne and Liberty. 1 will work on an MMO shooter that's codenamed Project LLL. And another will work on a strategy game
Love's
called
Labor's Lost.
Tacton Knights of the Gods. Several other projects and support functions are being shut down, which means they're probably going to be having some layoffs as well.
Yep.
These companies will not be listed on the stock market, and the proposal has to be approved by shareholders. If it goes through, the plan will go into effect in February.
I was worried they'd be on the stock market, you know?
Release me. Like, yeah.
Apparently they've had some pretty tough losses, so this is how they decided to restructure. Just make it 4 companies.
Chat
Yeah.
says Project Live, Laugh, Love.
Did they like? Yeah, I don't know. Did they like invest?
funny,
Were
Johnny.
they one of the companies that invested heavily in mobile and it didn't pay out for them? I don't know.
I don't know the full history of how it all went down.
Yeah.
Isla, roll this. This was a great surprise.
Okay.
There is a huge Castlevania expansion coming to Vampire Survivors.
Woo!
Yeah,
Vampire Survivors
here
never
we
die.
Vampire Survivors.
I clicked on this trailer. Things like, oh, okay, they're doing more Castlevania stuff, whatever. And then it just like keeps going and going and
Yeah.
showing more and more and more. And I'm like, this is nuts, dude. So it includes, they even have like a everyone is here line in there. Over 40 weapons, more than 20 characters.
What?
They said even there's like Jonathan Morris and John Morris are in there.
Great.
I don't even remember like what the distinction is between those two. 30 music tracks and one huge castle, all
What?
for $3.99
In Vampire Survivors.
in Vampire
Just
Survivors.
This is
dreading
basically
the
Vampire Survivors
40
2.
weapons.
New
Yeah,
weapons? Like
40 weapons is insane. Because
That's
remember, you have to like
insane.
evolve all. Like,
Yeah,
there's
Yeah, that's
so many
insane.
requirements for them.
I know.
I
And then I
already
saw
have to pause
Christmas.
the.
And then
What?
Yeah, and I want to know if the one whip they show is it just always gonna like flail left right like it does, or is it actually the first? Besides like facing with a gun, is it something you control a weapon where your analog stick movement actually matters for the weapon? Because other than facing a direction, they don't let you like have that range of control on any weapon. But
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
Whoa.
Yeah, but it looks like insane. That's easily gonna add like another 100 hours right there.
I love
50
that-
100 hours.
I love that the game that was just accused of, and sort of actually was just an asset swap of Castlevania is now just
100%.
officially in bed with Castlevania.
Oh,
Like,
that
Yeah.
boss
tight.
was from.
He had a bazooka.
That was from one of the DS games. I remember finding the Shadow
Yeah.
Demon
game
Dog
gets
looking
so
boss.
crazy.
Yeah.
Chad, is that a joke or is that real? They say John Morris is Jonathan Morris's father, but I don't remember who either of those people are.
I think that might be correct.
What?
I don't remember. What
I just
Let me
wish
see if I
this
can
were
find the
coming out-
original
40
line.
new weapons.
I wish this were coming
40.
out not on Halloween.
Yeah, I really wish it was a little
Like,
earlier, so
come
it would
out
be
right
in our
now,
stream.
baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing this over Christmas break when
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like hiding
This is
from
like-
my parents in my room.
This is the number one like on a plane or on your sister's
Yes.
couch game.
Oh,
Your sister's cat.
If Red's gonna
there are
says
8
it, it's
different
true,
whips,
yeah.
Damiani.
8?
Of course. Yeah.
8 whips?
8 whips.
Yeah.
I can't even name
Because-
8 whips.
Well, no, in the DS and GBA ones, you get different. I mean, they're still Vampire Killer, but you do get a lot of different whips.
Yeah,
Like,
you've
you
got
get one
leather
that-
whips
there's
and
like
chain
different
whips and
whips.
flame whips.
poison.
Oh, okay,
one that is
okay,
like
okay.
flame poison. Yeah.
Wait, isn't there also already a whip?
Probably.
Yeah, there's the
In the
basic
game?
left-right whip. that
There is.
happens.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Jonathan
pretty
Morris is a character in the Castlevania video game series. He's a vampire hunter and the son of John Morris, who was the protagonist in Castlevania Bloodlines.
Okay.
Jonathan Morris is from Portrait of Ruin, who I just played recently with Charlotte. It's the tag team one where you can toggle between them and they have combo attacks. So John Morris is old, like from an older one, like from Bloodlines. That's
He sounds like a cigarette like executive.
it says his
Jonathan
place.
Morris.
John Morris's place of origin, Texas, USA.
What?
That's what it says in the wiki. There's one of 2 protagonists in Bloodlines. He's a member of the Morris clan, an offshoot of the Belmont clan, and wields the vampire killer much like his ancestors. He is a close friend of Eric Lassard.
Lacard, yeah.
Lacard, sorry.
Charlotte and Maria are in there too. Yeah.
When we talked about Castlevania, the collection, I was like, I don't know the lore, so I'm like, I have to look it up.
Magic weapons, not any sword, but Alucard's sword and
Hell
Alucard's
yeah.
spear. Also Alucard's shield, Alucard's etc.
Another game I played on iPad.
Do you remember that time Morris were throwing javelins and iron balls? Glyphs, confodere, vol confodere, meleo confodere, but also plenty of non-confodere, we swear.
What?
What a press release, man. Oh, well. The former Witcher 3 devs, we've known about this new studio for a while, Rebel Wolves. They have teamed up with Bandai Namco to publish their first game in the Dawnwalker saga. It sounds very Witcher-like, described as, quote, a dark fantasy narrative sandbox AAA action RPG set in medieval Europe.
All right. That name
Wait,
just...
say all those things again?
Dark fantasy narrative sandbox AAA action RPG in medieval Europe.
That sounds like my podcast sign off. Just a list of words.
That title though got me for a second. I had to like do a double take.
Dawnwalker?
Because it's like combining the most recent two
Endwalker
14
and
expansions.
Dawntrail?
Dawntrail and Endwalker. I'm like, Dawnwalker. I'm like, what? Okay.
It's a strategy.
Yeah. It's like Transmorphers or whatever.
We could get, one of these days, maybe we'll get Halloween content. We get Entrail.
Oh my god. You're on fire today, Blood. What
Entrail.
happened?
Whoa. White square, entrail.
Love it, dude.
And then lastly, this was really cool. Over on Blue Sky, Molly Patterson posted a historic video from the Capcom versus Data East case from 1994, in which Capcom alleged Fighter's history was a ripoff of Street Fighter. This went to court. The video was part of Data East's defense case, in which they won, and it shows off the distinct differences between the different characters and movesets between the two games. And this happened because Molly previously worked at Die Hard Game Fan magazine back in the day. And she had ended up with the VHS tape and had just completely forgotten about it over the years. And then she went looking for it. And she found it.
Whoa.
And she digitized it. And she put it on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out on the channel. It's called Restart Fanzine. I didn't put it in here because who knows if somebody is not going to like that being out there 30 years later after that court case.
Wild.
But pretty cool piece of history. I remember reading about that case in
Yeah.
Nintendo Power. So it's wild to see like a lawyer in a suit talking about fighting games. And it's like, as you can see, this character is not like Guile. He is from the punk scene in Britain. Just like it's great. It is now time for love and respect. Love and respect from Garrett Holfish. Ahoy, allies. October 24th is my birthday.
Happy
Scorpio.
birthday.
That is
Scorpio.
today.
That's
Happy
today,
birthday.
as we record this.
There isn't much releasing besides Date Everything, which actually got moved to Valentine's Day,
I was gonna
That's
say,
better.
wait a minute.
That's better.
Is that that makes sense?
and The Smurfs Dreams,
Oh, great.
which is out today.
Wait, the Smurfs' Dreams?
Yeah, it's like Mario 3D World
Is
looking.
that the Smurfs apostrophe, like belonging to the Smurfs?
The Smurfs : Dreams.
Oh, okay.
At least the way they typed it. However, in previous years, my birthday has marked the release of notable games like Club Penguin,
Oh,
Marvel
wow.
Ultimate Alliance, and Bayonetta 2. What's the best game you remember releasing on your birthday? Before you get to that, Garrett, also today, there's Card NCL, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. That's the Inti Creates Mega Man Battle Network-ish game. Forgive Me Father 2 hit 1.0 today, which people are actually saying is pretty good. The Jackbox Survey Scramble, new style of
Hell
game
yeah.
from them. Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, which has been getting pretty good reactions too. Shin Chan, Shiro and the Coal Town, which has been actually, again, another one that people are liking. Slay the Princess, the Pristine Cut, again, fan favorite. And Void Rot, which is like some, I forget, I looked at it earlier and then I forgot again. But it's like, it's like a dark horror Cthulhu kind of thing. But yeah. So a lot of other choices out there for your birthday, Garrett.
I'm Googling because I could swear something came out on my birthday last year or this year that but I'm not seeing The Godfather 2.
Oh, wow.
the video game.
Right.
Came out on my birthday. Yeah, not much. I have a pretty rare birthday. Yeah. I'm still looking. And do you guys have anything?
Yeah, Damiani, do you have any that you've dug up?
Yeah. So Breath of the Wild came out right near within a day or two of my birthday. So
Yeah. What date is that?
That was pretty good. I already told you, and you forgot already.
No, I remember.
Okay.
She was trying to get that out of him for a long time.
So yeah, Switch and Breath of the Wild was like, oh, happy birthday to me. And then Twilight Princess HD also came out right then too.
Nice.
So, but Breath of the Wild Switch was a big one because I was like, big Zelda game, big new Nintendo console, and it was right on my birthday. I was like, yeah, this is sick.
Yeah, I was looking back. I didn't want to dig too deep into it, but the past 8 years or whatever, Easy Allies years, there weren't a whole lot for my birthday. But this year, Marvel Rivals is out, and 2016, The Last Guardian. Happy birthday to me right there.
Wait, I feel like Uncharted 4 got delayed to right before my birthday. Something like that. Because I remember playing it. I remember getting it on my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you find any?
Yeah, I found a website that just does this.
Oh, great.
So I found 58 games that came out on my birthday, but none of them were super great on my birthday. Day before my birthday, Suikoden 5 came out, and day after my birthday, Elden Ring came out.
Wow.
On my actual birthday, Metal Slug 6, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max, pretty cool. Hollow Knight, a little game called Hollow Knight came out on my birthday.
What's crazy about that is when it came out, it was not the phenomenon. it is now. Yeah. They got a slow
Sonic
burn.
3 came out on my birthday. Yeah, pretty good ones. Puyo
Nice.
Puyo Fever for the Dreamcast. Sick.
Let's play a game. From Cody Spencer. We've done this one before. It's brutal. In the spirit of Halloween season, I thought I would bring back one of my games, Door Your Babies, but with a spooky twist. The rules are the same as always. I represent a game behind door 1, and you will either choose that game or you will pass and blindly take what is behind door number 2.
Ugh.
Each of these games is either unannounced or very far off.
Oh.
So you're basically talking
Whoa,
about perspective
Okay.
things.
What we're
perspective
most looking forward
sequels.
to.
Yeah. The unchosen game will become a phantom and drift off to the great beyond.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, first set. Door number 1 is Left 4 Dead 3.
Left 4 Dead is
I
a
could
little
skip
too
it.
scary for me. However, I know how much people want it. Wait, did that Left 4 Dead game, did that come out?
Back 4 Blood, yeah.
It did. Okay. Was it good?
Some people liked it, some people did not.
Okay.
Back 4 Blood came out and it was
Mid.
a mid.
Okay.
Isn't there a current one that was supposed to be like that, No More Room in Hell 2 or something like that, and that one was not. Something was.
Yeah, No More Room in Hell 2 has got awful Steam reviews right now.
Yeah, but it's
A lot of
early
technical
access,
stuff,
so maybe
yeah.
they can get it.
Yeah.
Historically, Left 4 Deads are they seem harder to nail than one would think.
That's what I'm okay, for the good of humanity and because people want it so bad, do I choose Left 4 Dead 3?
I say let it go. Left 4 Dead 2 is good enough.
Okay, then I'm going to let it go.
Door,
There you go. So you have just received Days Gone 2.
Oh my god.
Huber and Jones are
I take
happy.
it back. I take it back.
Jones are happy.
I'm walking back out the door.
Too late. Left 4 Dead 3 is a phantom. Thanks, Gabby. Second set, door number 1. Now, this one is real. Alien Isolation 2.
Okay.
Or whatever's behind door number 2.
But we already got Alien Isolation.
Well, but you might make it a phantom. It's up to you.
I'm too curious of a person for this game. I'm almost always going to take the other door.
You'll know what it is
That's true.
He'll tell us.
I am going to, because we have Alien Isolation 2, that's a reality. I'm going to choose the other reality.
No, Alien Isolation 2 is not out yet.
But it's coming out.
No, not if we don't open, or if we pass opening this door, it becomes
Right, I know,
a
but in
phantom.
our current reality, Alien Isolation 2 is coming out.
But it
the
will
reality
make it
of
a
this
phantom in
game,
this
I'm
game.
choosing the other game.
For Huber, I would say we should take Alien Isolation 2.
I'm choosing the door.
Yeah, I'll take it for Huber. I personally would want the door.
Doing it for Huber was not a strategy here. Door number 2, we have just made a phantom out of Outlast 3.
I'd take Alien over that.
No, I think Outlast
Too late, you already chose.
it's
We took Alien, didn't we?
Yep.
yeah.
You took Alien.
I think Outlast it has a little bit more fun, I think. The games, obviously.
Door number 1 on this. Castlevania Lords of Shadows 3.
No, door.
Pass.
Door.
The door.
All right. You just got yourself Lollipop Chainsaw
No!
2.
God!
I'm shaking the door.
God, why?
Let me back out.
Oh, they're getting cruel.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Next door, Luigi's Mansion 4.
I'll take it.
Okay. I'm not a big Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I would pass,
person,
but whatever.
I'll take it.
All right, you just said no to Resident Evil 9.
God damn it, Damiani!
Seems like
That's fine. We'll get remakes. Don't worry. We still get
okay.
remakes.
We gotta wait 10
So we go
years for
straight
the
to
remake.
10. Resident Evil
Yeah, go
X.
straight to Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, let's go to Resident Evil X.
Oh, they end up doing Windows on us. At some point, we'll actually get the concept arts and some demo, and we'll wish we had gotten Resident Evil 9.
Yeah.
Next door, Silent Hill 3 remake.
Jeez.
I'm passing. I would never play that anyway.
Listen. Silent Hill 3 is great already.
I'm not disagreeing.
So I'm just saying, like,
What?
it'd be
Or-
cool if we got it. I mean, a lot of people are saying Bloober should do it, and then other people are like, it's a waste of their time. I think they should do a combo of 1 and 3.
Damiani, you're the deciding vote.
I mean, I was going to do whatever Isla wanted to do on this one.
We can pass for Damiani.
Is that pass? All right. If it's pass, then you just got Amnesia: The Dark Descent remake.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm pretty into that, actually.
You
That's
know
pretty
what?
good.
Silent Hill got theirs, and now Amnesia's getting theirs.
Yeah.
Next door, the Dead Space 2 remake
I was just talking about this
that
with
EA
Huber.
passed on.
I was just talking about this
I would skip it.
with Huber. Like, Dead Space 1 remake is so good.
Yeah, Huber definitely would take it, I would say.
I think you would too. But, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Damiani?
I would skip.
The last time I did it for Huber, we killed something he probably would have wanted more. But Dead Space 2 is pretty up there, so unless this is like... Hey, I'll
Wait, can I guess? Is it the Evil Within 3? That's what I'm going to guess is one of these, like, other options.
That's like the only thing it could be that you would be like, what the hell?
Or Red Dead
Probably.
Redemption 3 or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But that's,
So which way are you going?
you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it for Huber.
Okay. I think it's probably the better way to go. We'll see. We said no to Dead Rising 5.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I think he would be fine with
Yeah,
that.
I think he would be
Yeah.
fine with that too.
Probably.
But it is a remake versus a new game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, Inscription 2.
Ooh.
Ah.
Ooh.
Is that a game that needs a 2?
I don't think so.
Is what's behind this? This feels like
Fate.
that's baiting a
Shadows of the
punishment of me.
Damned.
It's going to be like
3.
Immortality 2 or something.
I don't
Outer
think
Wilds too.
like Inscription is so cool. I am not sure. Like, I wouldn't be disappointed if there was a 2, but I don't think it needs a 2.
Yeah, I feel like we could pass.
It's not eliminating the original Inscription.
Right.
Okay, it's a
Do a
pass.
different idea, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
we're
you just
passing.
got yourself Alan Wake 3.
Whoa!
Oh, okay. I would have gone
did
with
it.
Inscription.
We did it, folks. We did it.
Last one now. That Resident Evil Code Veronica remake that everyone is so sure is happening.
Parasite Eve's behind this, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll take Code Veronica because it desperately needs a remake.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Fine with Code
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like there's something real good behind
Yeah.
this door, but
Yeah.
Well, behind that door,
Yeah, what is it?
I suspect is a typo, but it's the Evil Within 2.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, Evil Within 2.
Okay.
Remake.
It's now gone.
I hope you marked my words.
Erased from existence.
Evil Within 3, I assume.
That
That's
was
why I assumed.
completely
it, but I
for
don't
Huber. Yeah, that was.
That was like a game particularly made to piss Huber off.
know. Right. Thankfully, he well, I don't know, but thankfully, he's not feeling well. But yeah, he didn't
would
have
have
to
to-
make those decisions.
If he didn't have a headache and was here, it would give him so much psychic damage that he would get a headache. So we saved him.
From Poya and Carver, dear lovely allies, I refuse to watch trailers for movies or shows. They will only create expectations that can never be met in my mind, let alone all the spoilers that they show. A person only has to say the slightest positive thing about a movie, and my expectations are set way too high. This is why pretty often I can enjoy movies and shows that don't really score that high. It truly is a blessing. Or maybe I just have bad taste? Let's not pull at that thread for now. Back to my question. I'd love to be able to have this approach with games, but because the experience differs so much and the price is so much higher, I can't blindly buy a game just because it was directed or written
Yeah.
by someone I adore. If a game isn't made by Santa Monica Studio, Naughty Dog, or Rockstar, I'm going to need more info. But it's exactly this info that more often than not sets expectations in my mind that are way too high. So my question to you, as game journalists, how do you manage these expectations being in the thick of it? How do you curb your enthusiasm?
Dun, 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 la, da, 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 da,
Da-da-da-da.
da, 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 da.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's maybe a little bit harder for things we cover and stuff that we're into because you kind of have to play it. Whereas for movies and TV, I do this all the time. I was wait forever to watch it and like let like the zeitgeist will pass so that like
Yeah.
I'm no longer like
Oh,
what was
sure.
it like Parasite. I watched that like a million years after everyone had
Yeah.
like watched it, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna finally watch it. It's like it was like 3 years after. I don't know how many years it was, but I do that with like everything. It's like I guess for some things I don't have to cover for games. Like if it's not something I'm being like assigned or a game I normally would like play right away, I can get away with it. But that's like not as realistic. Example would be Uncharted 4. The whole nostalgia video game scene, because I'm trying not to spoil it in case people still haven't played it either.
Oh, right,
that
It is in,
I
like,
did.
the first 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and when I told you guys and Huber, he was like, you didn't know about that, and like, because I had played it like so many years, I was like, it's like, yeah, I didn't know about it, I never saw that moment, and I was like, dude, what? I was like, yeah, that's what you can do. It's like, or even things where it feels like I've seen a kind of spoiler, I will like purposely like wait longer to watch it because I'll just like forget about that spoiler and like,
Yeah.
oh, I won't even remember this. So, but again, I don't have the luxury of always doing that when it comes to video games, though.
That is one of my, like, it's a reason I will hold off on buying video games for so long is I'm afraid of being disappointed by them. Like, I've purchased 2 Souls games that I played for like 1 hour, and then I was like, this is not for me. And, I mean, I learned my lesson, obviously, but I relate to this. I am always afraid of being disappointed by a game I paid $60 or $70 for. But I think to combat that, like, if you have reviewers you trust Not saying us, but it would be lovely if it was Easy Allies. And they like the game, or just watch a little bit of a stream. That I think is helpful. Especially for, a video game is many, many hours long. So if you watch 1 hour of a stream, if 1 hour of a stream ruins a game for you, I think it's probably not a very good game. So yeah. And the same with trailers. Games are so long, so watching a trailer for a game is even, the percentage of game being shown in the trailer is much less than the percentage of movie being shown in a movie trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been around so long that I don't usually have too much of a problem with feeling like I'm being let down. I'm usually waiting till I get my hands on it to be super excited, anyways, and just kind of taking it for what it is. And the fact that we've had so many trailers that's okay, I'm judging the trailer based on what the trailer itself does more than how much it's making me excited for the game most of the time, because there's been so many, we were talking about this on group stream, the Killzone 2 and the Dead Islands and the
Veilguard trailer.
Oh yeah,
most recently,
that's the opposite, right? You had these trailers that really get your expectations up, and then the game is just nothing like what they said it would be. And then, you have the Dragon Age trailer where it's what is this?
Yeah.
And then, we get to play it, and it's oh, okay, the game's actually really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Or at least what was, the preview event. So.
Right.
But that was 6 hours. So it's it's a pretty good slice of the game.
Yeah.
Isla, you have any enthusiasm curbing thoughts?
This one's weird for me because, of our job, I play way more games than I would normally anyway.
True.
And I generally have the luxury, since I don't have to review them, that I can just stop if I don't like them. So
sometimes frustratingly so.
Frustrating for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no, you would love it. Yeah, I think you would love it. But
get to the part I love quicker then, baby. But yeah. I don't know. It's because I feel the pressure of time if I am trying to finish a game. I played Silent Hill 2 in 2.5 days and got a migraine the next day because it was so tense. But I guess I don't. My expectations are generally, this happens to me in movies all the time. But in games it doesn't really, I guess.
Yeah.
You mean being afraid of being disappointed?
Or getting disappointed.
Oh, okay.
Like the substance, right? Everyone said it was. I got parasited on the substance.
Got it. Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. The fact that we even say parasited.
Yeah.
All right. It is time for bets.
Oh, I left my bet in the other room. Should I go get it? Or
I can find it. I can read it.
Yeah. I guess Isla will show it for you. This week's bet. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is out tomorrow. Ooh. One of the biggest changes coming to that game, marketed for that game, is the term Omni-Movement.
Movement.
I'm going to go through the top 10 English reviews on OpenCritic, and I want to know how many times the word Omni-Movement will appear. Damiani, Pompous Cocker Spaniel, how many Omni movements?
21.
Whoa!
21.
Let's go blackjack.
Isla, what hummingbird?
In your face, 22.
Did you find Gabby's?
Yes, I did.
Optimistic Rat.
15? Is that what I said?
She said 15.
Yep.
15. And my bet as the effervescent hippopotamus, 62.
Holy God.
62?
He's probably right.
Let's throw it. He's throwing it.
People are going to say this so much. Guaranteed one per at guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
And then one of them's going to say it 20 times.
Yeah. 62.
Last week's bet.
So each review is going to say it minimum 6 times. It's going to average saying it 6 times. Okay.
That's honestly not
That's
that
not so
crazy.
bad.
That's
That's
not
not so
that
bad.
crazy. That's
Yeah.
not that crazy.
We're talking about whether it's, makes a difference or not.
Yep.
Last week's bet, Speedo Llama, you can go ahead and play this thing, came out on Monday. I asked how many words we would hear spoken out loud in the launch trailer or the most recent trailer. For reference, the release date trailer has 21 words spoken aloud. Damiani bet there would be 9. Huber bet there would be 23. Isla bet 21. Gabby bet 10.
That's too
And
low.
I bet 11. And you know what? It's one of those times there was no new trailer. So the most recent
Yes!
is that release date trailer.
That was my hope, dude.
Wait, which is how much?
which was 21. So Isla just copied the number.
Wow.
That was my play, dude. That was my play, dude. Woo.
She's had that work in her favor before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Isla wins that, bringing the scores to Stealthy Centipede in the lead at 11. So anyone want to mimic Huber's Stealthy Centipede? And now Isla is up to second place.
Whoa.
Wet Hummingbird.
Yay.
Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Thank you for rolling with us with a weird week. Craziness happening. We're trying to roll with the punches. Some of the stuff that we were going to talk about this week, we will talk about next week. But this is all possible because of viewers just like you who are in here with us each and every week and who contribute the dollars to keep it going. So if you get in there on Patreon for $5 a month, you get this podcast 2 days early. You get 2 bonus Love and Respect questions that we record after the live stream. You get to submit to Love and Respect. You get into Discord for our top 10s. That's one of the things. We were going to do the top 10 scary sounds, but we had to wait for
We gotta
Huber.
wait.
So we're
We
going to do
gotta
that on Halloween. Not ideal. That's not how we wanted to do the release date because a lot of people are going to hear it 3 days later, but we got to wait for Huber.
Right now on the Discord, you can choose
Yes.
Team Yankees or Team Dodgers. East versus West. Blue versus Blue. Damiani versus Huber.
That's the reason.
Pick a team. Who you're rooting for. There are stakes. They're low stakes, but they're stakes. And talk your shit.
Judge versus Otani.
Yep, Judge versus Otani.
Yeah. And there are a lot of other tiers out there. At the tip top of that, we have our platinum producers who get a shout out on this podcast each and every week. And this month's shout outs go to Jabawabs and Elfanis. Shout out. Don is also not here. He's out somewhere. I don't even know what he's doing. I just know he's not here. But he has been putting up all of these sick pinball videos.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're so good. Go check those out. So he's got one that's on the new Metallica pinball table that they announced with an interview with the marketing guy over at Stern Pinball. He's got one that's of the Pinball Expo, the 40th anniversary outside of Chicago, and that is really cool and fascinating. It's like he shows the new stuff, which is very E3-like with all of Stern's tables, but then there are also all of these classic tables there. There's all of these like vintage video game
E3
shops and stuff there. So like there's a guy, I think he said like a guy that comes from Japan or something.
Ooh.
And brings all of these consoles that you can just go and check out, like old Jaguar and stuff. Pretty sick, as well as all of this like historical like Pinball Expo memorabilia.
Whoa.
Guys with like art structures, like there's some cool stuff in there. And then the third one that he's done is inside of the Stern Pinball Factory.
That's very cool.
That one was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get like a how it's made
They're
style
all great.
video, tour of everything, see all the little parts put together, see the inspection process. It's pretty cool, and I believe he's got one more. If it doesn't happen, don't blame me. It's my fault. But he's got another one that I think he wants to get out there too.
My God.
Coming up, Huber's not here, but we are doing a full series of Life is Strange spoiler modes with Elise. So basically, we're going to shoot it in 2 chunks, but we're going to release it as 5 separate videos for each chapter, just like the old episodic style, so that if you're playing along, you get to that chapter break, it's like, okay, I need a break. Let me go see what the crew thought of it. And also, we're not in the early access thing. We decided to opt out of that and wait for when everybody can play the game. So we're going to take it a couple of days after everybody can play the game and start putting those up. So we'll be shooting those next week. But yeah, Life is Strange, spoiler mode's back on the table.
Woo!
And Halloween is next week, so everything's happening early.
Yeah.
Group stream is happening from 2 to 5. We're going to be playing Retro Realms, Rift Tracks, Forgive Me Father 2, and Phasmophobia Console Edition.
Hell yeah.
And also because Halloween is next Thursday, we're going to be shooting at like super early podcast, like 11 o'clock or something like that. So
I hate coming to work in the AM.
because people got stuff to do with their kids and all of that. So get people out of here. Okay, Isla,
Hey,
you won that bet. You're in second place.
Hosanna.
So you get to shout out anything or anyone that's on your mind this week. You get the final word on anything that you've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just pops in your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
Shout out to my kids. I'm gonna hang out with them on Halloween.
Your son.
Yeah, my son's in jail, but my good son, as played by Macaulay Culkin, is also in jail. No, shout out to voting, dude. Like I put my vote in today.
Early voting now is so sick.
Vote early,
It's
vote often.
wonderful.
I mean, obviously it's different state to state, but it's been really nice to just roll down to the Skirball Center, which is not even the closest to us, but we just like it there so much.
You just love to say skirball.
I mean, it is a fun word too, but it's
Yeah.
just a really nice
You
place.
say it weird too.
Is the Skirble the one across from the Getty?
It's
right?
not across from the Getty, but it's further down the
right
state.
there.
It's,
Okay.
it's off. Yeah, it's in that general neck of the woods.
Yeah. But anyways, going down there on a day that's not a busy day and just walking into an empty room, voting and walking out.
Or dropping your ballot.
I just dropped
in
my
the
ballot
box. Yep.
outside the library, baby.
We still like to do it there. It's fun.
Yeah. It is an experience to
I remember
physically vote.
the first year I lived in LA, or second year maybe. No, it was probably the second or third year. The voting center was in the Beverly Hills Country Club, and after you voted, they gave you a mimosa.
Whoa!
Wow.
It was so funny, dude.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Which I don't think is strictly legal, but
if it's free, I think that's fine.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the
after
other
you
thing too
voted.
that's changed. It used to be that I'd have to go to the specific thing that was on my mail. You have to go to and now it's you just go to wherever works.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, at least on the ballot thing, or because I always do it ahead of time, the mail or you put it in the ballot box thing. It comes with a thing that has 6 options. Here are 6 ballot boxes nearest you. But yeah, I guess you can put it in anything.
Yep.
Oh, it's just a load off, but it's maybe the most important election ever. So get out there and do it, please.
Yep.
Whatever.
It makes you feel big and strong.
Yeah, and then
Voting.
very, very small. Final word. Just voting. Do that. Good night and good game.
I mean, I've been playing a white square all my life, but